Welcome to the Scrumptious Woman Podcast. Today, I am sharing with you something a little bit more personal. The story about how my marriage with Karim ended and what the exact moment was that had me decide. So I may need to take a breath from time to time and really get back into my body. So the morning that I decided to leave my marriage, my body did something I did not expect. The evening before, actually, it felt light, not empty, light. The kind of light that comes to you after you've been carrying something for so long and you forgot it was even on your shoulders. And then all of a sudden it lifts and your chest can finally take a full exhale. Kind of like 100 kilos, 50 kilos, whatever it was heavy. And all of a sudden it was gone in one night. And that's the only way that I've really ever been able to describe it. Now, Karim and I divorced over a decade ago. Wow. And we are still completely a family. At Christmas, all of our 4 children and us in one table. We get invited to dinners, to parties together. People watch us across the room at these gatherings and ask, what is it? How did you manage this? We, as your friends, never had to decide between him or you. You're both friends with both of us, with everyone. You really do want the best for each other. And even as I think about it now, it makes me emotional because we really did decide. And they say it like it is, and it's rare. And it is something that can be taught. I want to tell you how we got there, because the version that you see now, the 2 mature adults who simply grew apart, is not the true one. The true version has a boy in it. It has the counselor's office in it. It has the nights that we didn't sleep, the fear, all of that. And underneath it is something that I've been quite vocal about, but I didn't realize I was carrying. And it is probably still at the depth of every single story that I say. So here I am telling it to you, cracked wide open. And yes, bear with me. I'm going to actually just take a moment to breathe because this feels very revealing. Although I've talked about this many times, maybe not this much detail. Our eldest, Hanny, was small. He was maybe 10, and all his friends and him were sitting for exams to go to the next school. Now, his friends were sitting for exams in boarding schools. He came to me really serious one day. I said, Mommy, can I at least try for one of the boarding schools? I've not gotten into any of the schools, and I'm really worried. I want to at least have something. I just want to know. He was anxious. And I thought that was so mature, so beautiful for someone his age. And I remember standing in the kitchen and just thinking, like awestruck, like, oh my God, is my little son, with his little red tie on, his white shirt, his Weatherby prep uniform, and just telling me how bothered he was by this. And I told him, darling, tell Baba exactly the way that you told me. Gideon came back from a business trip and Hanny asked him exactly how he did to me. And I'm standing there behind, close to him, beaming with pride, thinking like, oh my God, isn't Gideon going to notice how incredible it is that he's plucked the courage to ask him? And then I watched Gideon and I watched Hanny at the same time. I think baby mother can only do this. He didn't mean to be unkind. No thought behind it, but he just said, no, that's not what I had in mind for you. Annie's face did something that I will never forget. It just felt like defeat. Quiet. The kind of quiet a child, even an adult, does when it's just learned in real time that asking doesn't always work. Of course, I took this on thinking that I had failed him. Something in me, that look from him, that interaction between the two of them, something got sparked in me. Something got alive in me. That night, Karim and I had a massive argument, and I told him that he could not move around the kids and he could not do to the kids what I felt he had done to me. And hey, completely my shit here. And I take full responsibility for feeling inferior and that it was his fault, etc., etc. And we've worked on that loads since. And at some point in that argument, he said, maybe we should get divorced. I did not sleep the whole night, and my body was shaking things off. I sweated at night. We tossed and turned. I think both of us. In the morning, I came to him and I said, I think that's what we need to do. That was the moment where I felt like a massive weight had shifted off my shoulders. I did not understand why that particular argument was the one. Why not the 50 or gosh knows how many we've had moments before that could have broken us just as easily. But I know it now. Underneath the marriage to Karim was a trauma I was not yet carrying consciously, because my body was carrying it for me. I was 7, and a cousin of my father, someone that we called uncle, always the life of the party, someone I loved with huge ears and always fun, gave hugs that went on slightly too long. His hand went to places that it shouldn't have gone. And as a girl of 7, that feels uncomfortable. I didn't have words for what was happening. I only had the confusion of loving someone and feeling wrong in his arms at the same time. I told my mother, and she just said, that's just what uncles do. I want you to sit with that sentence for a second, the way that I've had to sit with it. It did not just fail to protect me. It rewired something. It told a 7-year-old that her body's clearest signal, this is wrong, could be overridden by an adult that she trusted. That love and violation could live inside the same gesture, and that she could not trust the difference. That lesson did not stay in childhood, obviously. And that really created who I became, including in my marriage with Karim. Since then, I have found out many more abuses, incest, other things, brothers, sisters, things that a body remembers and the psyche often holds secret because we can't quite touch it yet. Quite reach it yet. So my body remembered this. It kept me slightly braced, slightly gone, even if I was fully there. And you cannot be fully met by someone when a part of you is guarded. Okay, I'm going to pause this again because I want to give you something to do right now. You saw me do it earlier. This is the practice that I teach every client. It's called touch base, and it takes about 2 minutes. Go ahead and press your thumb and your forefinger, not together yet, but keep them about an inch, 2.5 centimeters, 3 centimeters from each other apart, and just focus on that space. And I'd like you to focus on the space in between your fingers. And you may start to feel the energy build up there. You may feel the heat or nothing, which is also absolutely perfect. And as you do this, I want you just to do a little body scan and take a breath in through your nose, exhale through your mouth, and just notice where your breath is landing, not to do anything about it, but really to start becoming aware of the pattern. Now, shift your attention back to that space in between your fingers and slowly let the top finger touch your thumb. Let it land. Take a breath here, in through your nose and out through your mouth. And ever so slowly move that top finger and go even slower, probably about half the speed that you're going, so that you can feel every single finger ridge. It may feel a little bit uncomfortable to go this slow, but go ahead and do that. And I want you to now also maybe just say it out loud. I am safe. I am safe here. So always do this in a space where you are actually safe. Your car, the loo, in a space where there's no one behind you, no tiger, no lion creeping up on you, not some man behind you or a woman or someone wanting to hurt you. This is your space. I am safe. And continue rubbing that top finger slightly slower. Now, do this for at least 21 or 31 days, twice a day. It uses meridians EFT tapping point. It uses the anchor. This is the kinesthetic anchor that will teach your body that it's safe. After 31 days, you can just tap your fingers together and you'll actually start to feel safe. All right, let that go. For years, I asked Karim to see a marriage counselor with me, and he didn't want to, didn't think it was necessary. But when we finally went, after that one morning when I told him, the therapist told him something that I've been thinking about, and especially the last few years working with couples. He said she has climbed the mountain. She has gone up the mountain, and she's already on her way down the mountain. And you're still running behind her trying to catch up. Now that's the line for all the men that are trying to catch up and that are listening right now and that are in my DMs and on my reels. She does not leave the argument. She leaves after years of small moments where her body has said something quietly and it got met with either silence or pushback instead of curiosity. And then by the time that you notice that something is wrong, she has usually already grieved the marriage privately on her own long before she says a word out loud. An argument has never once ended a marriage, all these years working with couples, but it's the accumulation, the reach that lands wrong. So you go still, and he reads that stillness as rejection and stops reaching. And you read the stopping as proof that you are right to go still. Do you see this pattern? And now neither of you is reaching for the other at all, and nobody ever named it. And one day you're standing in the kitchen with a stranger who shared your mortgage. Now we got to the lawyer having already agreed on everything. I went to my lawyer, he went to his lawyer. Which house, which chattels, how we share the children, week to week, holiday to holiday. We did all of that without the lawyers negotiating for us because we still deeply loved each other. And we decided out loud to each other that we always would. Divorce didn't have to mean the end of our love, only the end of the marriage, of that contract. And Hanny, our boy, who asked so bravely for a chance nobody thought that he needed. He went to Marlborough in the end. He got there. He's now working and living in Dubai. But this is not why I talk about this. If I had understood then what my body was carrying, who knows? But I did not know. I only know what I know now and the long trajectory that it took me to go there. What I do is I don't teach theory. I teach practice. I have lived this, so I know what rebuilds a nervous system, a relationship, in the way that theory never has. Date mornings, protected time once a week. Just the two of you, no phones. Nothing is allowed to interrupt you tuning towards each other on purpose. The 15 minutes a week with the communication and intimacy card, with that dyad, the structured communication. One of you reads the question out loud, the other answers fully without being fixed, interrupted, reassured, or pushed back again. Then you switch. Non-negotiable. One question. 15 minutes. See the depth that it takes you to. Incredible. Non-sexual touch. Offered with curiosity and no destination. Week after week. This is the piece that I would say very few people teach because everyone assumes that touch is either nothing or it's sex. And there's an entire nervous system sitting in between you with years of safety that it has learned and needs to unlearn. A couple came to me who hadn't had sex in 23 years. Not a dramatic rupture, but just 23 years of living as roommates. 3 months in with the exact structure that I described to you. And they went on a second honeymoon and yes, are having sex. I'm not shocked by any of this anymore. And that really matters to me, that I've seen it, lived it. I've been with all of this because I needed to have these tools. Where we are now is that I spend every Christmas with Karim, the kids, oftentimes Alex, my partner. I chat to him on the phone at least once a week. The kids come to both of us. We're all together. It's he's still my best friend. I want this for you. When you continue to have the love for each other and you can continue to be yourself with each other, that is what being really creates. If any of this is landing for you right now, I have a few ways in for you to work with me. And also notice if you're like, oh, bullshit, that is also a signal, right? You're like, okay, I don't want to go there yet. That's cool. Your body is giving you something, your psyche is looking at something, and take that. Maybe in 5 years, you'll come back and you'll be like, oh, there was something someone once said. Let me take a look at that, because we're not always ready. The touch base training that I just gave you, it's in the show notes. You can just download it. You will come on my email list. Very honest about that. You'll get some emails and further ways to work with me. For men, if you actually want to know what's going on in her, touch point is my men's membership. It's on Telegram. You get little voice notes, and once a month we do an embodiment practice so that you actually know how to stay present with her. Woman, The Room, an 8-week program where I actually teach you what's happening in your body so that you can get into relationship not only with the man in your life, but with yourself, your body, your psyche, your being. As always, share this with someone who needs to hear this today. Much love.